Hi, my name is Dani Marti, and this is my submission for the Character Creator tool. Here is the customization tool, and before we start, I wanted to mention that I'm originally from Barcelona, but I lived in California, and I'm currently living in Hawaii, and I have been surfing since I was 14 years old. So I'm very familiar with the surfing and the skateboarding aesthetics and culture. And I wanted to give some of that personality to the UI. I didn't want to spend a lot of time designing the UI, but I wanted to give some of that personality. So the UI has been inspired by the skateboarding, the graffiti, and the tattoo aesthetics. Here we have 4 slots to create our characters. I'm gonna choose the first slot, and then in the next step we can choose a male or a female, and we can rotate the characters so we can have a better look of how the characters look. And yeah, I'm gonna let's choose the male. And then in the next step, we can customize our character. So here I can rotate the character as well. I can zoom in and zoom out. And here I wanted to mention that I know one of the requirements was to have 4 different characters to choose from, but I wanted to do this from a different approach, and instead of having pre-made characters, we can create our own character. So for example, if we want to make him more fat, we can do that. Or maybe we want something more muscular, so we can have somebody who is very muscly, or perhaps having somebody who is very tall. Or even we could do like a mix of all of them, because this is done by using morph targets, so that allows us for a very extensive customization. But for this example, let's just have somebody who is a little bit muscular. Then the next step, it's the hair. So maybe we want to zoom in a little bit, and I created different hairstyles. So we can choose, for example, this one, and then we can have different facial hair as well. So maybe a mustache or a goatee, or maybe a beard. Let's go with the goatee. Then next step is the tattoos. So we can have this one, or I'm gonna show all the tattoos I added, so we can have that one or that one. I wanted to mention as well that for this UI, we could have icons instead of sliders, but because I wanted to work a little bit faster, and the slider style, it's easier to develop, so because I don't have to create each icon, that's why I created the tool using sliders. But for a production tool, we could totally use icons. That I think it's visually more appealing and easier for the player. Finally, we have the clothing. Let's change his tattoo for a second. For example, this one. Then for the clothing, in the same way, we can have different shirt. Maybe let's do a white t-shirt, and we can add the pants. And here, and then finally the shoes. So maybe the white shoes. And here I wanted to show, once we have the hair and the clothes, we could go back to the body, and let's say we wanted we want him to go back and be very tall. So as you can see, the morph targets not only affect the body, but they affect the clothing as well. So that's very powerful because allow us to create very personal characters. Let's make him a little bit not that tall and maybe a little more muscly. Since he's a skateboarder, so he's probably like thin but still muscly from doing all of those tricks in the street and probably running from the cops. So yeah, let's say we are happy with this version, with this character. I'm gonna press the square on my controller. And yeah, here we save the character. We can go back and restart the tool. And as you could see, it took like a little second to load the character. That's because it has been, the tool has been loading all the settings that we stored. And once all of that information has been loaded, then spawns the character and applies the editing to the character. So we still have 3 slots, and we could go back to our character and let's say, oh, we want to change something, make some edits. So I'm gonna select it. And then let's say, well, you know, I think maybe the other t-shirt looks better on him. So I could have this one and say, well, yeah, let's save it. So now we have our character there. So this concludes the presentation for the tool. I wanted to mention that for this customization tool, I could use metahumans, but I wanted to show a different approach. Instead, I use character creator humans. They have the same features like the body and face, live caption and animations. They have the realistic anatomy, textures and shaders. But the character creator humans are more optimized. They use less bones and less geometry, which makes them more performant and easier to rig and animate. On the other hand, we have more control and they are easier to customize regarding their bodies and their faces. And it's easier to create different hairstyles and custom clothing. I think you can find this approach more interesting, and it offers many more possibilities than the limitations that we have using metahumans. I hope you like this customization tool, and thanks so much for this opportunity.